What's up YouTube, my name's Will and welcome back to another episode of Diet Hacks, and today I'm going to be answering a question that I missed out in last week's podcast. If you haven't checked that video out, make sure to do so, and also check it out on iTunes and Stitcher if you just want to listen to it. But basically I'm going to be explaining to you guys how you can still go out drinking or enjoy drinks at home over the holiday season.
Willie Will. Rackets on rackets, got backings on packets, I'm riding around in the coupe.
Okay guys, so as I said, this is the question that I missed out from last week's podcast. If you haven't seen that video, then go and check it out. Make sure to subscribe and ding that notification bell so you don't miss any more of my videos. But the thing that I wanted to say in this video is that I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, and this gave me the opportunity to do so and also make it relevant for the holiday season, because realistically this is the time when most people are going to be more frivolous, not care about as much, you know, their diet and stuff like that. So I wanted to make this video to show you that you can still enjoy the Christmas season whilst maintaining some sort of nutritional diet plan, right? So I posted on Instagram for questions, as you know, for the podcast, and one of the questions that I received was, if you are trying to lose weight, and I assume by lose weight you mean lose body fat, can you still go out drinking? Yes, you can. And I'm going to explain that there is a middle ground here, because most people will say, you know, they'll go one end of the spectrum or the other. They'll either say, no, I'm not going out at all because it's going to affect my diet, and then, you know, they're going to be upset that they can't go out and drink with their mates and stuff. Or they go the complete other way and they just say, do you know what? Fuck it, it's Christmas, I'll just throw everything out and just drink to excess and it all just goes out the window, right? I'm here to say there is a middle ground, so hear me out. So my first point, eating is cheating. I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, thrown about by one of your mates, or maybe used against you if you have eaten a meal directly before going out to drink. If you've never heard this phrase before in your life, then basically the reason it's cheating is because if you eat a meal or anything before going out drinking, then generally speaking, you can have more drinks before you get drunk, and therefore it's cheating as to, you know, who's the best drinker and can take the most alcohol without getting drunk. So that's why you're cheating. I'm going to actually basically agree with this to a certain extent, but I'm going to put a fit science twist on it. So basically how this works is that when you consume alcohol, your body treats it as a poison. So what it does is it shuts down all metabolic activity being used to digest food, right? So what I'm going to suggest is you need to have some space between the meal before you go out drinking, the drinking itself, and the meal you have after, because it's not a good idea to eat and then consume alcohol straight after, and then straight after that have another meal, because your metabolic systems are just not in place to be able to deal with that and metabolize that food properly. So what will actually happen is you'll have the meal and your body won't have enough time to metabolize that properly before you start drinking, because then remember, as soon as you start drinking, get alcohol in your system, your body shuts down the systems that are digesting that food to get rid of the alcohol. Once it's got rid of the alcohol, well, in all honesty, it won't get rid of the alcohol in time if you eat straight away after. So then your systems haven't kicked back into place when you then eat the meal afterwards. So you're not digesting that food properly, you're not metabolizing that properly either. So that's why I say you need some space between. By leaving space between, what you're doing is having this meal, you know, a good few hours before going out or consuming alcohol or whatever. You want to have that a good time before, so it gives your body enough time to digest and metabolize that, so that when you do drink alcohol, immediately your body starts working on getting it out of your system more effectively. And also then afterwards, if you leave space afterwards, then it leaves time to get those systems back into place before eating again, and you'll be able to metabolize that properly as well. And this does also have the excellent side effect of being able to get drunk quicker, because of course eating is cheating, so if you haven't eaten directly beforehand, then you're going to get drunk quicker. It's just, that's just how it works, that's how alcohol works. So there's that. And also that could mean it could save you money as well, because of course you don't have to buy as many drinks in order to feel the effects, as long as, presuming you're not drinking to excess, which again I would advise not doing, just for general health, and also because of the calorific intake of that, but that's another point, so I'll get onto that in a minute. Speaking of calories, the next thing we can look at is, what are you actually drinking? So the point about this is that alcohol has 7 calories per gram as a value, and to compare this to food, you know, proteins and carbs are 4 grams, and also fats is 9, so alcohol is somewhere in the middle there. But anyway, by consuming alcohol at all, you will be considerably increasing your caloric intake for the day, and that's going to make it a lot harder for you to lose weight, again assuming by lose weight you mean lose body fat in the first place, because as we know, the only way to lose body fat is to be in calorie deficit, which means that calories out is more than calories in. So by increasing your calories in, you're going to make it a lot more difficult to balance out that equation and to be able to continue losing weight. But I'm working with it, so let's keep going. Basically, what I'm gonna suggest is that you have to keep looking at what you're actually drinking. So let's say you like beers, or any type of beer, so lager, stout, ales, anything like that. There are lighter options which you can go for. Beers, like you could go for Guinness. Being a stout, you think that that's actually going to be quite high in calories, but it's not. It's only 125 calories per bottle, a bottle being 330 ml. You could go for Coors Light, which is one of my go-to drinks if I'm going out drinking. That's 102 calories per bottle. Corona Light, which is 99 calories per bottle, or Bud Light, which is 89 calories per bottle, extremely low, which is also another one of my go-to drinks if I'm going out drinking. Wine is a little harder. Wine is actually more calorific than beer. I don't know if you guys saw my hydration video, how to track your hydration, but there's a correlation here with wine and beer and all this sort of stuff. So if you haven't seen that, I'll leave a link up here for you to go check that out. Wines, red wine is generally the most calorific wine, followed by white, and then you've got anything sparkling or champagne will generally be the least calorific. So if you want to look at it like that in terms of which type of wine you're drinking, then definitely go for sparkling or champagne if you like that. If you don't like that and you only like red, then there are some options for you, because we do actually have options available in supermarkets and stuff, or on online wine directories for slim or skinny wines. I don't like the term skinny, but that's just what it is. It is what it is. We're just gonna not cry about it and just use it in the video for the sake of it's just a brand name. You get what I'm saying. So in terms of wine, some of the brands available are Skinny Girl, Jacob's Creek, Cool Harvest, Skinny Vine, The Light Grape. You get the idea. There's kind of a rolling theme with all these names, all of which are under 100 calories per glass, a glass being 150 ml. So that's quite low for wine, in all honesty. So if you only like, if you like drinking wine as opposed to beers or spirits or something, then there are options for you there. But you are making it harder for yourself by drinking wine rather than these other things, because that's immediately more calorific. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. If you don't like beer or wine, and we're into your vodkas and whiskey and all that sort of stuff that you can use mixers for, then we're going to look at the mixers themselves. So let's say if you are a vodka person, you like your vodka and Coke, or let's say you like, I don't know, Jack and Coke or something like that in terms of like whiskey. If instead of using regular Coke, just use Coke Zero, because the main thing with mixers is that that's the part where the calories are going to be high because of all the sugar. So we're going to look at using low sugar or 0 calorie mixers. That's the idea here. So with Coke, if you're using that as a mixer, just use Coke Zero instead of regular Coke. In case you're wondering why I keep looking down, it's because I got my iPad for the notes that I've made on what I was going to say to you guys, just because I wanted to get it all across and make sure I don't forget anything. If you like gin, then you could go for like I think Fever Tree do a naturally light tonic water, which also doesn't have any artificial sweeteners in, so that's an added bonus with that one. You could go for, like, if you like energy drinks as a mixer, then I think Red Bull do a Red Bull Zero, or there's definitely a Red Bull low sugar version, so definitely use them. If you like Monster, then you've got the Absolute Zero or the Ultra White. Those are both really low calorie, or even 0 calorie, really low sugar. So you could go something like that. But what I'm really getting at here is that there are lots of different options for reducing the calories that you get from mixers. And the whole aim of what I'm talking about in this section here is to reduce your overall caloric intake from drinking altogether, because remember, the aim is to remain in a calorie deficit because we were trying to lose weight, and that's the only way to do that. And another added bonus of the mixers, if we're using 0 calorie, 0 sugar variants, it's never a bad idea to cut down on the amount of sugar in the diet, not only for general health, but because mixing high levels of sugar with alcohol consumption is actually what makes you absolutely hang the day after. So if you cut all that sugar out, then all your mates, when they wake up in the morning and they look like shit because they've got a hangover, you're going to be absolutely fine because you cut out all this sugar and you're not going to have a hangover. So win. There is another thing that you guys can do, which is really, really simple, and I highly recommend it. Counting your drinks and adding water. So what I mean by this is that simply by counting the amount of drinks that you have will kind of make you realise actually how much you're drinking, because I know when I'm out drinking, I'm not thinking, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just enjoying going out, being with my friends, and in this case, this time of the year, I'm enjoying, being with family and stuff like that. And I'm not really thinking about how much I'm drinking. I'm just drinking because it's there. That's the point. It's convenient, it's readily accessible, it's around us all the time this time of year, and this is the main problem, because it's always there. We don't really think about how much we're drinking. So if you count your drinks, it will make it real to you how much you're actually consuming for a start, and that might make you realise, okay, I'm actually drinking quite a lot now, I need to stop. Or what you could do, and this is what I mean by adding water, is after so many, have a bottle of water, or half a bottle of water, or however much water you want to drink. Let's say, if I was going to do it, I'd probably say, like, after every 3rd bottle of beer, I'd have a bottle of water. And that's just a really, really simple thing that you guys can do to help you over this Christmas period. So remember, guys, the main theme running throughout the answer to this question is calorie deficit, because that is the only way that you're going to be able to continue to lose weight whilst drinking. And you can listen to all of these things that I've told you and apply it. However, if you're not accounting for that throughout the day with the other things that you're eating as well, the other things that you're consuming, then you may still not be in a calorie deficit. You might be in a calorie surplus. So the last thing that I would say is, if you're going to go out drinking and you know that you're probably going to have a lot of drinks, then what I would suggest is adjusting the calories that you're going to get from your food for that day. I'm not saying starve yourself so that you can have more drinks later. I'm just saying that, if you're going out to dinner and you've had a fairly large main meal, and then there's, the waiter comes over and they say, would you like to see the desserts menu? Just think in your head, I'm going to go out drinking later, I'm going to have a lot of extra calories, so no, I'm going to pass on, the apple pie or whatever you were going to have. So that's the very last thing that I would say to you guys, is just make sure that you're remaining in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight whilst drinking. And that has been my answer to the question, can you still lose weight and go out drinking? Thanks, Chloe, for the question. I'm really glad that I got to make this video, because like I said, I've been wanting to make it for a while, and you doing that, submitting that question for the podcast, enabled me to do so. I hope that everybody else watching this has benefited from this in some way. I feel like this is something that quite a lot of people would probably want to know, especially this time of year, Christmas season, New Year, all that sort of stuff. As I said previously, drinks and that chocolate and all of this good stuff is around all the time at the moment, and there's a lot of temptation, and I think people just tend to go with the fuck it attitude and just throw everything out the window. Just go, look, it's Christmas, I'll just be bad from, you know, like the 15th of December all the way through to the 2nd of January. So there is a middle ground, guys. You can do it. You don't have to either sacrifice all the hard work you've done by completely throwing out the drawing board, let alone going back to it, or you know, completely sticking to it and missing out on everything. There is a place in the middle where you can be. Yeah, sure, it's hard to do, it requires a lot of discipline and stuff, but if you want it, then you can do it, and I believe in you guys. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you click that subscribe button and ding the notification bell so you get notified when I upload on a weekly basis. If you have enjoyed this video or you learned something from it, make sure to smash that like button for me, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.